Hi friends, it's Strifor, and today we are going to talk about the impact of the US elections on the global economy and trading. The next presidential election in the United States will be held on November 5, 2024. The wave of uncertainty, the candidates' promises, and the economic outlook create a unique field for investors. The confrontation between Republicans and Democrats in US elections is not just a political struggle, but already a cultural phenomenon embedded in the very essence of American democracy. From the presidential election of John Kennedy and Richard Nixon in 1960 to the current struggle between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, Republicans and Democrats have competed for power, drawing the electorate into intense debates on issues ranging from civil liberties to national security. This constant confrontation not only shapes the political landscape of the United States, but also becomes an element of American history and culture, demonstrating the dynamism of the American political process. The results of US elections, particularly whether the Republicans or Democrats win, play a key role in shaping the direction of financial markets. For example, Republicans tend to support tax cuts and deregulation, which can be favorable for certain industries. On the other hand, Democratic victories may be accompanied by more government spending and a focus on social programs, which also affects market dynamics. Thus, a reasonable understanding of party political preferences allows investors to adapt to change and effectively manage their portfolio. US elections are always a catalyst for changes in financial markets. Let's look at specific examples of the impact of the recent elections. After Joe Biden's victory, investors expected stricter regulation of tech companies. This led to a decline in the shares of large tech giants in the short term due to uncertainty around antitrust measures and tax changes. A Democratic Party victory is usually accompanied by a focus on green technology and infrastructure projects. Investors after the 2020 election actively invested in companies related to renewable energy and infrastructure developments, which increased their value in the market. By the way, we talked about this in detail in our video on green energy in trading. In the context of the timing of the last election, the COVID-19 pandemic added complexity to market dynamics. However, pharmaceutical and biotechnology stocks rallied after the election as the new administration took steps to accelerate vaccination and healthcare support. In presidential election years, the S&P 500 index has had more positive than negative returns. For example, 19 out of 23 election years produced positive returns, and the average return was 11 and 28% for all election years. When a Democrat was in office and then a new Democrat was elected, the total return for the year averaged 11%. In US history, industry groups have always sought to influence policy through elections. In the 20th century, the Republican Party represented business and the Democrats represented the working class. In recent decades, in a tight race for voters, the situation has leveled off, with Republicans actively flirting with workers and Democrats with business representatives. One of the classic mechanisms of business influence on politics is the financing of election campaigns. Among the most generous philanthropists stand out the famous philanthropist George Soros and the head of the recently bankrupt crypto exchange FTX, Bankman-Fried, both of whom actively support Democrats. Nevertheless, the richest Americans mostly favor funding the Republicans. Among the major donors to this party are PayPal co-founder and investor Peter Thiel, the owners of North America's largest logistics equipment supplier Uline, the Wheelane couple, as well as the head of the Blackstone investment group Steve Schwarzman. And Elon Musk has at various times supported both Biden and Trump. In total, 465 billionaires spent $881 million on campaign financing and political campaigning during the last election campaign, and at the end of the election this amount exceeded $1 billion. These amounts show how serious the impact of the US elections on one or another sector of the economy is. Therefore, representatives of these sectors do not spare huge sums of money to promote the candidate more favorable to them. It is important for traders to assess current political trends and analyze how they may affect different sectors. For example, one could consider investing in sectors that traditionally benefit from anticipated policy measures or use strategies based on changes in exchange rates. However, it should be remembered that financial markets are unpredictable and any investment decisions should be sound and based on careful analysis. The presidential campaigns of Joe Biden and Donald Trump have entered their final stages. The coming months before the elections will be key and crowded with important news. Events as big as the US election have a very serious impact on stock markets, and stock markets will be as sensitive as possible to the news surrounding this process. Strifor broker team will follow the developments together with you and help traders to make money on important world events. The US election affects the prices of different markets, from Forex and cryptocurrencies to metals and CFDs. With Strifor, you can trade on any of these markets quickly and reliably. To do this, register an account by scanning the QR code or following the link in the description. Install the MetaTrader 5 trading platform and make transactions using the strategy of your choice. Join Strifor, we always pay.